back, dear listeners, to another powerful episode of AIBiz. I'm your host, Avik, and today we are diving into a space where technology meets authenticity, the authentic edge thriving in business with the AI. Yeah. So, AI is everywhere right now, dear listeners. Some call it the great equalizer, others call it a threat. But at the end of the day, business owners aren't looking for the buzzwords, they are looking for the real growth, practical tools, and the sustainable strategies. So, the big question is, how do we embrace AI in a way that helps us thrive without losing the human touch that makes business meaningful? And to help answer that, I'm joined by a lovely guest. Please welcome Wes Towers. So, welcome to the show, Wes.
Thanks, Vic. It's fantastic to be here with you today, coming from Australia. I realize it's quite late for you tonight, recording this. So thanks so much for staying up to make time for me.
Yeah, obviously, for sure. So, Wes, like before we start, I'll quickly love to introduce you to all the listeners. Dear listeners, Wes is the founder of Uplift 360, where he helps construction companies and businesses beyond grow with smarter websites, SEO, and the practical digital strategies. So he's been in the trenches for over 20 years, like building his own business the hard way, making mistakes, and learning firsthand what works and what doesn't. And today he brings that no nonsense wisdom to help companies stand out online, avoid the wasted spending, and use AI in the ways that actually drive results. So, dear listeners, I'll not take much of your time. Let's get started. Welcome to the show again.
Yeah, thanks so much. Good to be here and talk about some of my journey today.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. So Wes, you have been in this game for over 2 decades, and with AI changing the landscape so quickly, what's the biggest difference you see between businesses that thrive with AI and those that struggle with it?
Yeah, there's a lot of noise regarding AI right now, and here in Australia, and I'm sure around the globe, we're seeing job losses in some circumstances, and certainly the potential for that to occur in many industries. And in fact, even in my
Mm,
industry, I mean, 3 years ago, I got a business valuation done, and at that
mm,
time, the valuer put down a lower value, far lower than what I anticipated, and the reason and rationale behind it was AI was a significant threat to my whole industry. He was of the view that my whole industry, but I'm a website design and development, SEO, so digital marketing. He felt that
mm,
the whole industry was at threat, and it potentially was, but it really was a wake up call for me to double down on some of the tech, implement it in my business to streamline processes a little bit, but
mm.
also to really consider what is important and a value that I bring to the marketplace. So that's the human element, which I think we can lose if we don't get the AI tech right.
Mm. I agree. I agree too. And um, is it more about the mindset or the tools they choose? What do you say?
It can be a bit of both. So, I mean, I like to think of it that AI reveals, but it doesn't necessarily replace what a
Mm,
business is, and it can amplify a message if it's used right. But it will if your core marketing message isn't strong, well, it's amplifying a message that isn't strong. So, you really need to consider what your edge is, and usually your edge as a company, certainly as a service-based business like mine and the clients we serve, your human aspect, the human element is what people engage with. So whenever making a significant investment, if you're selling a higher end product or something that's um, not cheap, then that human engagement is where sales are made. So to amplify that humanity, I suppose is really important, I would say. we want to sound human. We don't want to um, make our businesses so robotic that it repels people. There's certainly a bit of pushback. You see this on social media where there's a bit of pushback. People almost feel cheated when they feel the marketing is all created by AI. It's not really. There's a lack of authenticity.
Exactly. Got it. So, like, I mean, yeah, I mean, that's such a key point because it shows that AI is not just about the tech, but it's also about how leaders approach the tech. So, yeah,
Yeah, 100% the mindset, to understand really, if you understand at the core heart of who you are as a business and your unique service offering,
mm,
and, even if you're assisted thinking of it from a marketing standpoint, you can produce content really fast. But if you've got a really a strong core, compelling message that you can amplify and help. So if you're using an AI tool to write some of the content, if you're guiding it strongly along the path of your unique message, not just something generic, because if you just rely on the tools to produce all your marketing material, it's going to be just like everybody else. It's going to be the average of everybody else. So none of us want to be average. We're never going to stand out in business if we're average. We want to be providing something that's our brand is providing a unique set of values, a unique value to the industry that you're working in the marketplace, and your target market needs to feel engaged by your message. So for me, when I got that business valuation, I just chose to firstly look at how I can introduce some of the AI tools and techniques to help the business, and it did phenomenally well from a technical standpoint. The outcome was still the same, but the really key thing that made us have the best, strongest financial year ever was to really double down on all the human touch points. So I even introduced. I love people and I love connecting with people, so I set up a little
okay.
networking group for local businesses at the wine bar just near the office, and that was a great way to connect as people in the business community, to be known and found and seen, and it's something I enjoy as well. So that was helpful. So all those human touch points and being recognized in the industry, recognized in the business landscape, really did help the business and get the message out there. And we had our best financial year ever. So I'd like to get a new business valuation based on the back of that. Certainly, I would suspect it would be a lot higher than the valuer put in 3 years ago.
Exactly. Mhm. So, like, so your work focuses a lot on the construction companies and an industry that isn't always first to adopt the new tech. So, what lessons can all businesses learn from how builders and contractors are or aren't embracing AI?
That's a really good point. So our clientele are usually construction and trade businesses, so building materials, all those sorts of things, and they're practical people. They've typically worked their way up. If we're dealing with the founder, they've worked their way up on the tools. They're pragmatic, practical, hands-on, but they're not necessarily tech savvy. Usually, they're not, but oftentimes they will have marketing people within their organizations. We're dealing with a slightly larger business, not like a micro business, not a small trade business. Usually, we do have some of them, but if we're working with the marketing manager, it's really about for the founder to set the brand values and mission, and make that really clear, so the people who might be more tech savvy in a company can run with that core message and use the tools and techniques. Even in my own business, I mean, we do website design and development, so we're quite on the cutting edge of all these things. We're naturally tech savvy, but even I can't stay on top of every single tool and technique and strategy. It's just changing so fast. So I rely on my team. I set the mindset and the values and the direction of the business, but I allow my team to flourish within that. So I think that's a really important thing as a business leader. You're never going to know all the strategies, the tools, the techniques, but you do need to be setting the tone and the direction of where the business is going. So you might not know all the tactical maneuvers. None of us do, but to rely on people who do, either by hiring in an employee to take care of it for you, but also to outsource it to a company who specializes in the need that you might have at that particular time.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and so some critics argue that AI kills authenticity and that customers can smell the automation and generic content from a mile away. So, how do you help the companies use AI without losing that authentic or the human edge?
That's really important, and it can be difficult if we're not getting the things we need from a company. So we help them produce the content, particularly around their website, so their blog or news, and that's an attempt to rank as highly as we can in Google, but also to be found in AI, large language models as well, which is a massive thing we're helping clients
Mm.
with right now. What we do is make sure we bed down their voice document, so their style guide. So anything that we're writing on their behalf, we've got the prompts that are really quite thorough to make sure it's exactly in the tone and the style that they would write. And so the voice is exactly the same each and every time, the way in which they communicate. But the message needs to be totally specific to them as well. So any points of difference in the marketplace are the aspects that we want to amplify, because everyone's talking about, all their competitors are talking about the industry in general. But if we can be really specific and laser focused on those unique selling points that company has, then we can amplify those points and stand out. So the authenticity is maintained that way. So if we're really clear on what they want to say, we can syndicate the same message across multiple platforms,
Yeah.
but we've got to bed down precisely that core uniqueness. I think you're right. So, I mean, if you were to look at a platform like TikTok, for example, you can see it's really clear that videos that perform well there are often not produced very well at all, and they'll get significant reach. There's something about, I believe, something about the authenticity that, so if something's not 100% perfected, well, there's more belief that it's authentically a real piece of content, not super polished AI content. So yeah, I think you're right. Authenticity, I believe, scales faster than generic, because just generic gets lost in all the confusion of the online world. It's just it's a quick way to lose people. So obviously the clarity always wins with any marketing message. So getting that down pat, and the real does definitely beat perfect.
Oh, very true. Yep. And like if I may ask, like I mean, where's the sweet spot between efficiency and genuine connection?
The sweet spot between, sorry, authenticity.
Yeah, authenticity and genuine connection.
Yeah, so the way I look at it is to use all the marketing messaging platforms, obviously social media, etc. And your website is the core area that you can control. So it's all your messaging. So what I would say is use the other platforms, social media, to bring people to your website firstly, because it's your digital shop front, and you're controlling the messaging and hopefully engaging the potential client in a stronger way. But realistically, the goal is to get them off. So get them off social to your website, get them off your website to connect with a real person within your company. That's important for our clientele, because they're service-based businesses, so people wanna talk to a real person, and they'll always have questions. They'll always have, specific needs that they need addressed, so then they do need to engage with a person. a lot of that
Mhm.
sometimes, there's potential for chatbots and AI to answer lots of queries, and that's good for the researching phase. But when someone is ready to part way with a significant amount of money,
Mhm.
then you really want to have a human to create that human connection, because people like to buy from people they know, like, and trust, I believe.
Yeah, true. Exactly true. Yeah. And that's so important because authenticity isn't about kind of rejecting the AI, but it's all about using it to amplify, like you're saying, uh, what's real rather than replace it.
Yeah, and to simplify your core messaging down, so I believe simple scales where complexity it fails. It's really difficult to scale a complex message. Some industries are just
Mhm.
complex by the nature of what they do, but to simplify it down so the benefits are recognized by the marketplace, that's really important too.
Understood. Understood. Yeah. And um, you are very clear about avoiding the hype and overpriced solution. So, what's the one biggest mistake you see businesses making uh, when they first try to use AI in the marketing?
The I think relying on the tool the tool to create the message rather than guiding, so having the tool be the master of the message, where you should be the master of the message, and it's just helping to communicate it in a succinct, compelling way, or to structure it. The way I do even my own content, often I'll have an idea. Maybe I'm driving in the car, have an idea for a blog post, let's say. And so I'll just start talking to my chat GPT, having a conversation while driving around, obviously hands free. And just saying some of my unique points of view that I believe are different or compelling, anything that's uniquely my own thoughts. So I'm guiding it, having a conversation, but it's helping me clarify and put a framework and language around what I'm saying, and structuring it in a meaningful way, because my thoughts will be a bit jumbled and chaotic, because it's just me thinking through things. But then by the time I get back to the office or wherever I'm driving to, that my thoughts are distilled down into something that can create a great blog post, and it's nearly ready to publish. So I get back, and I open it up on my laptop, and create a blog post out of it. So that piece is genuinely uniquely mine, because it was my thoughts. The thoughts didn't come from the AI; it came from my mind in what I do, and it's just helped to create it in a more succinct and powerful way. And from that, we can use that and repurpose it again into social media posts. So I've got some prompts to take that one blog post, and it'll give a whole series of content ideas for social media. So from that one brainstorming session in my car driving around with just random thoughts, it's created a great piece of content that's been repurposed across many platforms.
That's interesting. That's really interesting. So, looking ahead, like, how do you see AI reshaping the way small businesses, especially those outside of tech, compete in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, so I would say it's changing so fast. So really do get experts in the field of whatever area of AI you're looking to implement, whether it be the back end systems or the marketing, that both can be served with AI. Bring in experts in the field, because it's changing so fast. So if you're just trying to do it yourself, the tools and techniques you're trying to implement might be redundant, because there's probably something better. It feels as though every day something better is coming along. So getting the best possible advice you can at that moment in time where you need the implementation, but guiding the outcomes that you're wanting to achieve. The outcomes probably will remain the same in your business. What you're producing might remain the same, but the taking the advice to get these systems, the best possible systems you can to run the business to streamline things. Other people have seen lots of different scenarios, and they'll know what is the best fit for your business.
Mm, exactly. So, do you think that we will reach a point where not using AI becomes a liability?
I think so. I think the I think the business valuer was right with his concern for my industry, but I think that's across the board in every industry. Right here in Australia, we're seeing whole departments being closed down due to AI being able to facilitate a lot of the needs, and that's likely to change. And we even hear of, I'm always just out of interest watching on YouTube, for example, different AI and how it's evolving and what it might mean. I think if you don't stay on top of these things, your competitors will, and they'll just crush you because they'll be able to produce the outcomes at a far more efficient way, and that might mean there's less margin in the projects because they might undercut you, and eventually you've got the potential to be wiped out. So you really do need to consider in your own industry and field how you're going to use these tools to stay competitive and even stay at the front of the marketplace. So you obviously it'd be great to be the leader in your field with the new tools and technology. But just at the very minimum, you need some form of AI introduced to stay competitive, I believe.
Uh, so, any suggestion you would like to give to the listeners today?
Yeah, so I mean, our expertise is around the marketing. So we do websites and we do SEO. So search, we're calling it search everywhere optimization. So a lot of people started thinking SEO, trying to rank well on Google is not important anymore. But the good news is the same strategies that we use to rank well on Google are the same strategies that typically that help us get found on AI platforms because that's where people are doing their research. So I would say just refocus your attention on your marketing efforts to be found in the new large language models, ChatGPT. If your brand is surfacing in these platforms, then you're going to stand out. You'll be found. You'll be seen as the authority in your space because really, realistically, you need to be the authority in your industry. It's hard to be the authority globally sometimes, but if you're niched into a particular location or if you're niched into a particular service that you're the leading authority in, I think that's where the money is. If you can be really own authority in the space you play in, and use AI to amplify your messaging, you'll stand the test of time.
Mhm. Got it. Got it. Amazing. Amazing. So, wow. This has been such a grounded and energizing conversation, Wes. I mean, you have shown us that thriving with AI is not about chasing it, or it's a kind of hype. It's all about finding that authentic age where people, processes, and technology work together. So that's amazing, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Avik. Yeah, it's been good to chat.
Yeah, yeah. And then also for the listeners, like here's a challenge. Like instead of asking, will AI replace me? Start asking, like, how can I mean, how AI can support me in showing up more authentically and more consistently and more creatively. So that's where the growth lies, right? So uh Wes, if someone wants to connect with you, what will be the great medium?
Our company website would be the best place to go. So uplift360.com.au, uplift360.com.au. And from there, you'll find all the social media platforms that if you want to connect that way, even my personal LinkedIn is there. So happy to connect with anyone who'd like to.
Amazing. So, dear listeners, what I'll do is I'll put all the links into the show notes for easy reference. And with this hope, until next time, remember that a healthy business begins with a healthy mindset. So, stay curious, stay authentic, and I'll see you in the next episode. So, thank you so much.